What the Tech today. I'm Rolando, your host, and with me along for the ride is my co-host Dave Kelly. It looks like we're having a bit of some technical issues on one of the platforms. So if you are watching us, I believe, is it on Amazon, Dave, that we're having an issue?
Yeah, there's an error.
There's an error. We'll try to work through that and see if we can power our way and see what we can do. Ori, are we just it's live TV, so you can't script this. Are we doing 1080? Is that what's the error?
Okay. Easy fix.
So is it a fix, or do we have to? Because if we have to jump off of here and restart, then we could do that. And I see some people are joining us as well. No, we'll just have to roll with it then. Well, so what I want you to do, Ori, is just put out on whatever we've got here on the chat. Let people know about that, and if you can, just maybe put that out on social media as well. That the Amazon link went down, and so they can watch us on YouTube and Facebook. And I think we're on Twitter, right? All right, cool. All right, so let's restart again. All right, you can't script this; it's live TV, live action stuff. So this kind of thing happens. So, like I said, I'm Rolando with What the Tech. Dave is over here, and we're along for the ride today. Thank you for joining today. We've got some really cool stuff that we want to bring you today, and thanks for rolling with us and rolling with the punches on the technical issues. So if you were trying to watch on Amazon, you know, things happen. You watch us on Facebook, YouTube. We've got the links there, and we're also on Twitter. Okay, so Dave, I don't know about you, but I'm thawing out over here. Finally, we got our first warm day of the season. It's like in the mid 60s here, just outside of the nation's capital, and I'm feeling good today. I gotta tell you, I have a smile on my face. It was sunshine is out. I even put on a special little outfit today because we got a nice guest today. I want to put my best foot forward, and that kind of fits with the theme of today, trying to put our best foot forward.
True.
So let's jump into what we've got today. So today we've got the Poly P15, which is what we're showcasing today. It's the new video bar by Poly. And let me tell you, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to try to get through as much as we can because there's a lot to show you today on this new device. We had the opportunity, Dave, to put it through a test and do some things with it and shoot some video with it. And as a matter of fact, today, I normally shoot with a professional Sony camera that's shooting the images. This today is brought to you by the P15 Poly. So I can't really show it to you from here, but Sam is going to be able to show you the P15. But all of the images coming from my end here are on the Poly P15. And I liked it so much and was surprised by it so much, Dave, that's why we're using it. I would normally, we have not done any demos where we're actually on the product itself and broadcasting at the same time.
Yeah.
This was that impressive.
You look great. Yeah, you look great. It was a
Is
fun
it me?
week of
Did I
testing.
dress up? Are you talking about the dress up or are you talking about the video quality?
Listen, you always look fantastic, but the video quality, second to none. No, I really liked what we were doing with this product this week. Really looking forward to our guest and getting to know kind of more about the industry, who's using these products, who can benefit from this new type of technology. Because I'll tell you, it's easy to use and it looks great and it's just awesome all around.
I agree. So what I want to say about today, if you're an IT manager, you're in the education field, heck, if you're a podcaster, content creator, streamer, there's some, you want to, hey, Ori, they want to listen up to this. Go ahead, give me a listen up. All right. So if you're one of those folks today, manage people. Maybe you're a law office in your healthcare, anywhere where you really want to put your best foot forward. You want to showcase your best. Heck, Dave, you're trying to highlight your brand every time you're on Zoom and you're on Meet and you're on Hangout, or you're providing educational classes, or you're communicating with clients. Why not put the best you possible? And the P15 helps you do that.
Yep, absolutely. So without further ado, Rolando, why don't we introduce our guest and our trivia question?
Absolutely. So we're going to go to Sam in a moment. Sam from Poly. He's standing by in the green room to join us. Ori, let's go to the trivia question. All right. So, simple question. When was the first webcam invented? Stay tuned all the way to the end. We'll reveal the answer on when that happened. Okay. So, let's bring on our first guest. Let me tell you a little bit about Sam. Sam is a Chief Product Evangelist at Poly. I believe he's going to be doing a lot of screaming and yelling when I hear Chief Product Evangelist. A lot of hype. He's the hype man, but he's been around the block. He knows what he's talking about. So he's not just a lot of hype. He has worked a whole bunch of positions at Poly, and his bio is so long. I think we could do an episode just on his bio. And he can come out and tell us a little bit more, but all you need to know about Sam, he's a great all-around person. He's been around, we were just discussing in the green room, over 20 years of product knowledge and experience. He's going to help break down why we should even care about getting this new device. Without further ado, let's bring on Sam Kennedy.
Hello.
Hey, Sam. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right. All right, Sam. Thanks for joining. Where are you joining us from today?
I live in Connecticut.
You're right up in New England. He's not far from you, Dave.
No. I grew up, the tri-state area, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island.
All right.
I'm on the other tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, but all good.
You got corners.
Well, we appreciate you for joining us today. And coming on to the show today. Hey, Sam, before we jump into the discussion and talk about what we've got going on, I want to show you a clip, and then I want you to get your reaction on the other side of the clip.
Sounds good.
Right.
When my contribution is a key part of getting something done, right? I need to be at my best. I need to look my best. I need to get my message across. And that's when I need the quality of experience. That's when I need the control of, bad lighting. That's why I need the better audio. That's why I need to go to the next level with my tools. So I'm a big guy around pick the right tools for the situation and the need. Your webcam, your camera in your laptop is wonderful for that casual hangout, quick little chat.
Yep.
But when it matters, you need to go to the next level. All
right. There's your buddy, Neil. I got to tell you, next time you tell him I'm a real big fan of his show. I really love the stuff he puts out there. It's real good content.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I work really closely with Neil on a lot of his content, so that's great to hear.
Yeah. So what do you think about what Ira said? I think a lot of folks have this topic in mind when we're talking about what's happening, the big picture. But let me get your reaction to that.
Well, I completely agree with what Ira was saying around how do you want a better quality level of experience. I think that as I'm talking to, I've been, like as you said, I've been doing video for well over 20 years. And especially in this work from home space or almost work from anywhere, customers and users are looking for an experience that just isn't good enough, right? And what we've seen, especially that COVID helped drive over the last 12 months, is that good enough isn't good enough anymore. If I want to talk to my parents, I want to talk to my kids or my friends, it's okay to have a just good enough experience. But if I'm going to be working from home all day long, if I'm going to be in front of customers, if I'm going to be in front of patients, if I'm going to be doing this for more than just again talking to casual discussion, if I'm going to be using this for a commercial or business quality experience, I want a business quality. I want everything to be business quality. I want my audio to be great. I want my video to be great. And so customers and users are really looking for that next. Just good enough isn't good enough anymore, right? They're looking for that really good business quality experience.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Now, listen, so much has changed in the past 20 years, Sam. In the early 2000s, who was using who was using this type of technology, and what type of challenges were they trying to solve?
Well, I think that as the industry was starting out, it was typically large enterprises, and we joke a lot that rooms used to cost $50,000 per room. I've been at Poly for over 15 years. I mean, I was very well involved in a lot of the immersive telepresence solutions that cost $500,000
huge
per room.
investments.
And so
that was just for the hardware, let alone the networking. The
networking, the services, the white glove that organizations required to make that work. And so that's the way it was for a very long time. It was only really for the largest organizations in the world. And that's just not what's taking place now. Right now, everybody wants a high quality video experience. I mean, I think all of us watch TV. Right? I mean, we all have that experience of what a produced experience is like. And I want as good of an experience when I'm on a podcast today, I'm on a video call with customers all afternoon. I want to present myself I want to present myself and my organization in the best possible experience. I want to have the best quality video, best quality audio, so that you look at me and say, that's a company that I want to do business with. That's the type of person that I want to communicate with. Someone who actually takes take this seriously of how they look, how they feel, the content that they're creating or they're sharing. All of those things absolutely matter.
And I would say, if I were to paraphrase, Sam, what you just said is that you're trying to take the friction out of the engagement process, because there are human reactions to when everyone has had a call in the middle of the night or late at night while you're eating dinner, and you pick up the phone and it sounds like 800 people are in the room when you're trying to talk to that telemarketer, right? They're trying to sell you something. You're like, oh, I don't. Same thing happens on video. If it's really jittery or grainy, or there's a lot of lag between the voice and the video, it's hard to hold on and stay with the experience, right?
Absolutely. And again, I think for as long as Polycom and Plantronics, as long as we've both been around, removing that friction has been a core tenet of what we've been trying to do, and just driving innovations. I mean, video quality is one, but I mean, who we are and what's in our DNA is audio. Delivering the most amazing levels of audio experience, right, is how do I remove those levels of audio? How do I provide just the best experience so that it is as least as good as if we were in the same room? And many times it's even better than being in the same room. And those are the type of innovations that really set us apart, and why this is truly enterprise and business grade. This isn't just some consumer earbuds, right? These are we're really taking it seriously and removing those layers of friction that don't deliver as good of an experience.
And I think to just piggyback a little bit on that delivering experience, and it's a good segue into asking you about the news Polycom. The Poly P series. Yes, I'm still stuck with Polycom. Well, on the Poly P series studio products that you guys have released. So you have the P15, which is what I'm coming to you live on right now. You have there it is.
And I'm using one, right? So it is. I am using it on video, and I'm lucky enough that I have two, right? So I know one here in my hand, and again, I was joking with you that typically I have early hardware, but again, you get a sense to what it looks like, right? I mean, this is the device here in my hand. I'm actually using it as well. I'll give you just a reason why I've been using the P15 for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now. And so part of the reason that I've chosen to use the P15 over, I mean, you can imagine, right? My title is I'm the Chief Evangelist, right? I have access to everything, anything that we make. I could get our highest end conference room video solutions, right? I have access to everything. And I've standardized and been using the P15 because one of the things that's been really high quality about the camera is we've tuned the camera to deliver a really high quality video experience in low light environments. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we saw over the last 25 over the last year with COVID is that most people, when they went to work from home, the lighting at home is not as good as it is in the enterprise. And so what we really tuned these cameras to be much more sensitive to low lights, where you don't need a ring light or you don't need any third-party type lights. And so again, I've standardized on using this P15 because even though I've been doing video for over 20 years, I don't have the best lighting setup in my house. I don't want ring lights or anything like that. And so the idea is that this camera provides that really high quality video experience, even in just normal work from home video environments.
Yeah, and what I've noticed with the low light is some other products that we've tested, you sacrifice video quality or you add graininess, or you're just adding noise into the picture. And I'm really impressed with being able to do that without those sacrifices. It's a really good job on that.
And I see that we have some footage here on the different items that you guys have also released. The upgraded type of webcam, the P5. It's got also some huge improvements. Also the P21. Stop it right there. Go back a few seconds, Ori, so we could just highlight that P21, which is what Sam was talking about. So it's got that integrated lighting. This is something new I haven't seen in the market. So you've got, like what you're talking about, ring lights that people have, and I've got lights here as well. But for a lot of folks, they just need that experience where everything's there. They're not having to worry about plugging things and it's, too white light or too warm or too whatever. It's there. Roll it up to where you see that the P21, Ori. Keep going. I think it was it before that?
That's right, but that's the P5.
That's the P5.
So it's what part of the I'll just give you some.
Right
there you go, right there.
Right there.
Yeah, some of the other things that are really nice about that are that the lighting is actually tied to which clients that I'm using. So if I'm using a Teams call, the lights actually turn on when I get into my Teams call. I hang up, the lights turn off. So I'm not actually staring at these. I mean, there's some real intelligence built into this, as well as the lighting it's a little difficult to see maybe from that image, but if you were in front of a P21, the lights actually wrap around. It's almost like a reflective light. So you're not like staring at a light bulb all day long, right? That can be very fatiguing. So it's a very intelligent and now again, as I said, the lighting, the cameras themselves, right? I have a P5 here. So all three of them, the cameras themselves are tuned to low lights. But when you add lighting, it just looks much better.
Even better. So now one of the things that come up quite frequently, especially if we sell and talk to customers that are in the business space, and so do you. So one of the things that we're at this point with the whole COVID thing, one of the things that we're getting is a lot of questions about return to work, or return to the office. Is this a trend? Is this a fad? And I want you to answer that question after we play this video. It's again, we're gonna pull Neil and Ira back into the conversation again. They had a really good question the other day, and I want to go ahead and get your reaction to that.
This whole idea of hybrid working, it's in 2020, it was kind of acceptable to have kind of okay, and we were kind of all evacuated very quickly from the office and trying to get our setup set up at home and our platforms working from the cloud and getting a device that was okay. But, hybrid working, is it going to continue on? Is this timely? What's your vision? And again, where do you see this kind of hybrid working and remote first working going? And obviously these devices being able to embrace.
Sure. Well, let's start here, right? I mean, the topic of hybrid working is critical, but we should understand that telecommuting has been around for a long time, but it was always this special benefit for a few people who maybe earned the right to not come in the office, right? They were the important ones or the lucky ones. Well, quite frankly, that's changed. Now we're seeing companies that are not just supporting hybrid working because of COVID. They're supporting it because it makes sense. They're supporting it because it's a good decision that maximizes cost effectiveness, convenience, productivity. It allows them to find workers in places that they couldn't reach before. So it's a strategic decision. And we believe, and frankly, our customers are telling us that this will continue long term. So this is not a fad. This is not they can't come to the office, so let's tolerate it. This is a new way of working. And it will continue in some form to some degree, I think, across the business world, and it should.
Nice. So so you agree with Ira on that the direction that businesses are heading is more of what we have now. rather than less. In the fact that we're all going to go back to the office and dump our P15s and stop remote working and that kind of stuff, and we're going to go right back to your traditional conference room or huddle rooms.
So in my, what I believe, and I talk to customers all day long, all over the world. I talk to a lot of our partners. I spend a lot of time with Ira and the analysts. I believe that desktop video is absolutely here to stay, and that that does not mean that the conference room is going away either. By the way, I think that the video, people communicating and collaborating over video at a more full-time or regular basis is absolutely going to be here for forever, and at least for the foreseeable future. And I think that we've been using another term internally a lot more of, it's not just work from home, it's really work from anywhere. And so it's that I need to be able to get my job done no matter where I am, when I want to get it done. But I need to be able to communicate and collaborate no matter where people are. And so there's going to be some people that are going to, not everybody wants to work from home. Not everybody's able to or set up to work from home. So there's going to be some people that want to go to the office and some people that want to, in order for us to do our job however we want, we're going to go back to the office, right?
Sure.
The office is where we meet, right? And so that is going to exist, but there's going to be a lot of people that are either going to be communicating with the people that are working from home, or some people that are working, they're traveling on the road. Maybe I'm somewhere else for a period of time. The other thing I would mention is there's a lot of verticals. It's not just people working. I spend some of the biggest growth that we've seen over the last 12 months is learn from home. I mean, the amount of, I have 2 kids that right now, hopefully my internet's good because I had 2 kids upstairs that they're in class right now. And so they're remote learning, and that's going to be here to stay, at least on some form. They've taught now, again, it's in their blood now to be able to do this. You can't tell them, hey, I need to be in class every day, or when they go to college that they have to be in class. So the idea of remote video and collaboration, communication, learning, healthcare, all of these different things, absolutely, it's here to stay for forever now.
Okay.
It's amazing how the stars aligned. What the technology was there, the hardware was there, the bandwidth was there, and we were just waiting for that opportunity where deployment, it was inevitable. The solution came before the problem. And it was the anticipation of those problems that's now really, the pedal to the metal for the adoption.
I 100% agree with that. Zoom was set up, the fact that a lot of organizations, especially the ones that were successful, had been already made the move to the cloud, and this is why we made the move to the cloud, right? Is to be able to support Zoom, Teams, WebEx, Google, right? The organizations that had moved to those platforms were they just turn it up, right? It was those platforms were built to be able to support an event like this, right? And that's why they saw 10, 100 times, they were 100-fold, right? They were able to support as many users doing video as needed. The platforms were absolutely ready. Kudos to them to build those platforms, and it took an event. That's unfortunately took an event like this, but you're absolutely right. Is that move to the cloud absolutely helped, and if this was 10, 15 years ago, even 5 years ago, it would have been a lot more. It would have been a lot worse to be able to support. Everyone would have been on the phone, right?
Oh no, that would be horrible. That would be very, very bad. Nobody wants to be on their phone and be doing all of this. You've seen
it would have been a lot
talking
harder.
Like that, blah 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 blah, on their speakerphone, which is just not the best way to get business done.
It would have been a lot harder for us to get. If we're all struggling being remote as it is, imagine if, again, I'm very lucky in that, my organization, the customers that I speak with, I get this 2-way video interaction. That's all I do, right? So I get that feeling that I get that connection with other humans because I'm having this high quality video experience all day long, day in and day out. So it's not that, obviously I would love to actually be in the same room with other people, but it's still that I'm not missing the human connection because I get it every single day. But if I had to be in an environment where I just had phone, I never actually saw people. I could never get that high quality where I could actually connect with people. It would have been a much, much more difficult year for me. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'm glad. I love how you're teeing up what we need to talk about next, because that's exactly what we want to show folks. So right now, obviously, for those that are watching us, and then for those that will watch us later on the playback, you're watching us use the Poly P15, myself and Sam. We both have those. That's what we're streaming to you with. And what we want to do is show you a comparison of what it is, what kind of strain that is when you use a lower quality type of thing. So if you're using native laptop on your Mac, or even for your Windows machine, we have two of those. What I really want to do, Sam, is one of our what the Teck style head-to-head against some competitors. We'll talk about that later. But for now, what we're going to see is what probably a lot of people are still doing, using their laptops to communicate on Zoom, Teams, whatever. And we want to show you what that looks like compared to the P15. And we've got a couple clips to show our audience, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. All right, so what we want to do is make sure people are paying attention. So if you've got headphones, you're going to hear things better. And I want to say, hey, listen up. All right, let's roll the footage, Ori. So in this demonstration, we're taking 3 different cameras, a Mac, a window, and the Poly 15. We're going to see which one of these 3 has the best video and audio quality. All right, here we go. Science. All right, science. So who that's watching us today can tell us? Raise your hands, class. I see you virtually. Be nice. Be nice. Ted? No, no, Ted. Be nice. All right, over here, what we need is a tight shot. Why don't you go over here? Get in tight. All right, awesome. All right, team. Here we go. This is a play we're gonna run during the Super Bowl. I want everybody to huddle up, and then I want the center to be out over here. I want you to hike the ball, okay? All right, man. The Super Bowl is on the line. Protect Tom Brady at all costs. That's how we win. That is the equation that we need to get to more sales, okay? Winning, bandwidth, smiles. Everybody got it? Good. Morale's a little low. I want everybody at the office tomorrow, and I want you to bring your pet. Okay? Don't care what pet it is. Dog, cat, bring your pet. The next thing we want you to do is make sure they have clothes on. All right, clothes. Hey everybody, it's Chef Ro here today. And what we got today, What the Teck is bringing you a brand new coffee. Coming to your shelves. It's What the Teck Super Premium Extra caffeinated, hyper caffeinated coffee. This is the coffee you need to start your day. If you don't have this coffee to start your day, you can't think, you can't do things right, you can't think. And what you want is when you're out working on your spreadsheets, that you have the best coffee possible in your cup. That's why I fully endorse What the Teck. What the Teck Super Premium Coffee. Get it today.
Love it.
We had so much fun with that. It was great. When we taped that, I had no idea that the P15 was doing all of those movements, because there was like screens in front of me, so I didn't know what was going on. And then when we played it back, I was like, oh wow, that looks cool. It like zooms in. I moved over here, and it's not doing it right now because I have it off because I'm really close instead of far away. So I took that effect off for right now, and it just kind of gives you a producer-like effect. And one of the things that we were having discussion before jumping on today is that if you are a content creator, if you are an educator, if you stream, or you're thinking of going online and streaming, this gives you a really like a plus that you don't see in anything around this price range. You'd have to jump up to something very expensive, probably 4, 5, 6 times the cost of this to even get into anything that has that capability.
I love. First of all, I loved the. It was quite great, but I
Which one did
think
you like, the Tom Brady or the Chef Rowe?
I liked. I don't know that I have a favorite. I think probably the chef one, but I love them all. I love the making money one maybe, but again, all of them were great. I mean, the idea is that for a very long time we've been delivering really high quality video experiences in conference rooms, and what we've been really focusing on and delivering is taking those experiences, this just great 25 years of innovations in video and conference rooms, and bringing that down and enabling that for everyone, no matter where they are. And so again, you could have been wearing a mask I mean, there's so much more I could tell you about things that we're doing there. One point I'll make, because there is some software that allows you to tweak. So if you have a P15, or you have one of our desktop clients, you can download the Lens desktop app. Allows you to actually customize it and tweak it and do all. It's not required, you don't need it, but when you have it, there's a lot of benefits both to the end user, to IT. They can do a lot of management, software updates, and things like that. So, I mean, it is a very much while it's very consumer-like from a friendly produced effect experience, it goes well beyond that from a supportability and from an IT managed perspective.
When I was watching that demo, Rolando, I kept finding myself looking at the one up top because the camera was framing you. It was keeping my interest. I could see what you were trying to convey. But what that isn't showing us is that feature for acoustic fencing. So again, being an audio company, Sam, can you talk about what the acoustic fence feature is and the value that it brings to the users?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, bringing that same concept of what we did with video and bringing conference room technologies down to a personal level, enabling things that did cost tens of thousands of dollars in the past, bringing that down. And just like we did that for video, we've been doing the same thing from an audio perspective. So there's actually, while we have lots of capabilities and innovations built in other words, there's a microphone array. So there's 3 microphones built into this. So it provides a really high quality audio experience. We have our gain control, auto echo cancellation, gain control, all the audio, nerd things that are in there. It's all baked into the device. But 2 specific features, I know you asked me about one, I'm going to share 2. Yeah, I'm an evangelist.
Go for it.
I love this stuff.
Go for it.
The first one is, again, acoustic fencing. And so to that point, what we can do is create this zone of audio. So if you're not inside of the zone, let's just say that I tend to have, I'll give
there you go.
The same use case in 2 different ways. One is no matter what happened, again, it's winter here, so I don't have this right now, but in the summertime, no matter what, every time I'm talking to a customer, my lawn guy has to come. And this is the corner of my house. My lawn guy comes by, and it's really loud when I'm talking to customers. Well, I can create this acoustic fence. So if I'm not muted, what'll happen is it won't send that. It'll know that's outside the fence. And so don't add that noise. It doesn't matter if it's speech or the lawn guy or whatever. It won't mix that audio into the call. The other feature so that's acoustic fencing. We support that's on this device.
And Sam, before you get to that other feature, let me just say something before you jump to that other feature. Let me tell you how good that acoustic fence works. When I first got this P15 out of the box, I would just step to the side a little bit, and people were like, "Why can't I hear you?" And I didn't realize that I had on the Lens app that comes with it. It was set for the narrowest range, the tightest range, so that anything super close would essentially be blocked out. And once I used the app with it, you can adjust it so that it has a bigger aperture from the audio perspective, so it has a bigger fence, right? A bigger virtual fence from audio. But it is really amazing how you guys can fine tune that so that if you just want to talk right in front, like I'm talking, and all you want is the audio from here, the dog, the chip thing, and all the other stuff won't bother you in terms of the people that you're talking to.
We can even start to do that. It's on some of our headsets now. So I have one of the employees that works for me. He literally sits next to his wife, and when they're both talking at the same time, and I can't hear her. It just, I mean, they're literally, I can see her on video because they're sitting that close together, and I can't
Wow.
hear her because the headsets are just, this acoustic fencing is just that amazing that it actually just removes, it's again, separates that audio. So it's quite amazing, even down to the headset level. The other feature I just can't help but talk about is we added another capability called Noise Block AI. So we've had a feature in the past called Noise Block. And what Noise Block does is it removes, if I'm not muted, it removes if I'm within the fence and I open my bag of chips, it won't mix that audio into the call. But in the past, you would if I was speaking and I was opening the bag of chips, you'd hear both, right? So the idea would be we don't mix that into the call. Noise Block AI, what it does, it actually, if I'm talking and I'm opening my bag of chips, it actually removes the chip bag opening, right? It removes anything but speech from the audio, right? So that's only thing that people will hear on the far end. I mean, it is mind-blowing. And again, I think one of the biggest challenges that I hear from organizations is when they're working from home or learning from home or when they're doing remote video is noise. I have my kids, I have my lawn guy, I have the dog, right? Everyone has use cases and examples of audio, of where you only want to hear, I only want you to hear what I want you to hear. I don't want you to hear everything going on in my house. And so the idea is with these technologies built into this device, as well as a number of other devices, we're able to deliver that really most premium level of audio experience.
Well, I can't agree more than that. I know that I before we brought you all this footage, I'd spoken to with a customer that's actually working on this, and they said that they had a one of these in their house, in their home office, and they're on a flight path, and not far from their house is a highway. And so the highway noise, as well as the planes going by, were always making it into the video, always making it into the phone conversations. And as soon as they got this, nobody heard any of that. Nobody heard the plane going overhead. Nobody heard the road noise, like you said, the lawn. In this case, it was a highway. So it's that type of product that it can really perform where others just don't have that technology being built in. So I would imagine for healthcare workers, financial, where privacy is a concern, right? HIPAA, telemed, courts, legal, lawyers, all of those types of folks that may have some legal constraints, this type of feature would be very beneficial.
Absolutely. There's so many use cases across the board. Work from home, learn from home. Any of the people that have to have those private conversations, there's just endless, right? Everybody has to deal with this, right? Watch the TV, and there's always an example of something getting through that shouldn't be getting through from an audio perspective. And so, there's this enabling these types of technologies that are accessible to everybody is really is just up to the while it's been kudos to Microsoft and Zoom and all of them to build those platforms. It's our relationship and our partnership with those big cloud providers that really ups the experience for the people, all of those users who are in their homes or in their hotel rooms where they're traveling or in the wherever they may be. We're able to really provide the best level of experiences, leveraging Microsoft Teams and Zoom and WebEx by leveraging Poly with the P15, our headsets, the sync devices, all these different things that we've been bringing to the table for these remote workers. We're able to provide that really high-end enterprise grade audio and video experience.
Sam,
Awesome.
You guys, Poly has raised the bar once again. The market is primed. It's easy to use. It solves a lot of problems. A lot of your technology is simply, it's so good, it's going to be invisible to the user because you won't have distractions. People don't talk about not being distracted. People talk about distractions. You're eliminating those distractions. You're making it super easy to use. So listen, I just want to keep the conversation going. We ask people to like and subscribe and comment. Follow us, hit the bells and whistles. Rolando, we want to go to the trivia question.
Absolutely. And before we answer it, Ori, before you reveal the answer, show the question. We'll have Sam see if he can give us an answer. He's been around for a while. When was the first webcam invented? Sam, any guesses? A date?
It's a good question. I'd say late eight. I mean, again, I've been late '80s would be my guess. There would be some like Bell Labs or somebody.
All right. Let's go for that. Go ahead, Ori.
91.
1991. Now, here's not even Bell Labs, but the first webcam was used to monitor the coffee level inside a room, like a coffee room where people went, in an office, you got the coffee room. So that students and professors didn't have to go make a trip to the room to go get coffee if they were out and they knew, we got to refill it or whatever. A webcam was set up in order to keep an eye on that. Can you believe that?
It's awesome.
Awesome. Like, why would go all the way to coffee room if it's empty?
Exactly.
There's no coffee there.
And then you know who drank it last and who isn't making the fresh pot of Joe.
That's right. That's awesome.
Video surveillance.
At its best. And it ran for many years. I think 10, 12. I can't remember the exact how long but it did. And then, they upgraded. But that was the first use of a webcam in the university. So I want to thank our special guest, Sam. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks,
You've been
Sam.
a wonderful sport. We've enjoyed having you on, and we definitely will have you on again. From what I could see, folks are reacting well to that. So like Dave said, we want to have our folks, if you like this content and you want more of this, subscribe, hit the bells, hit the whistles, hit the notify button. Make sure you do that because we come out with sometimes some special nuggets that aren't aired during our live, and we show them to an audience. And the way to get those special nuggets, and sometimes we do like a double overtime with some guests and push that out later on. That's to subscribe and make sure that you get notified. So Dave, any parting words, any last words before we roll out of here?
You know what? Thank you, Sam. We love the new products and the technology. We really enjoyed having you on, and we look forward to working with you more.
All right. Appreciate the time. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.